Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm your host, Bill Bailey. So there's a really bad storm. Probably most of you aware of it, cutting across the northern 48. Part of the country is going to get thunderstorms, possible tornadoes, incredibly high winds. Some parts of the country are going to get wind chills as low as 60 below zero. As it works its way up to the Midwest, there's going to be a ton of snow, high winds. I mean, really bad blizzard conditions. There's going to be a lot of power knocked out, folks. So I hope you got a backup plan, have candles ready, lighting, backup heat if it's possible for you. You might want to turn your thermostats up just a little more. So if the grid goes down, you can keep that heat a little longer. Might be an option. But here in Michigan, they're saying blizzard conditions expected, total snow accumulations of 12 to 26 inches. Drifts will be much higher. Wind gusting as high as 50 miles an hour. This is for the eastern UP and northern lower Michigan where I am. It says from 7 p.m. this evening to 7 p.m. Saturday. The worst conditions will occur Friday into Saturday morning. So just be ready, folks. It's going to be a bad one. And one of these storms where if you don't have to travel, just stay home. So the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill, at the moment it's stalled. They're trying to say you've got to keep Title 42 in it. Someone added an amendment, so they're throwing a panic, but it's going to go. Title 42 isn't going to stop much of the run over our the invasion over our southern border. It was a Trump-era policy that says if they've got COVID or anything, they can send them back, but they'll figure a workaround before they're going to lose a $1.7 trillion windfall. What will this do? This will fund the military-industrial complex. It will fund Big Pharma. It will fund the IRS. It will fund the FBI. There's special funding to go after American patriots and prosecute them. But the biggest thing it's going to fund is World War III. Zelensky comes over here in a sweater and gets a pile of cash. My suspicions are that's been a big money laundering operation. And he's saying, you guys are going to give me the money or I'm going to start telling what I know. And if you try to get rid of me, I've got a kill switch and the information will come out anyways. I'm speculating, obviously, but who knows? Maybe I'm not that far off the mark. So let's listen to what Rand Paul has to say.
Rand, you brought the bill. Why don't you go first?
I brought with me the Omni, 4,155 pages. When was it produced? In the dead of the night, 1:30 in the morning when it was released. Now, people argue that it's conservatives' fault. You don't have the Christmas spirit. Somehow you're holding up government. Well, whose job is it to produce this? The people in charge of spending. The people in charge of both of the parties. When did they know that this would be necessary? Well, it's in the law, September 30th. You got 9 months, almost 10 months, to produce a plan, to have a spending plan. They weren't ready on September 30th. So they voted themselves 90 more days. They weren't ready last week either, so they voted themselves another week. And now we have it at 1:30 in the morning this morning. But what's the clamor? The clamor is to vote. Vote now. Let's get it done. Why are you standing in the way of spending? Well, the real question is this. What is more dangerous? What is more dangerous to the country? $1.1 trillion in new debt, or as Republican leadership likes to say, oh, but it's a win. It's a big win. We're getting $45 billion for the military. So which is more important? Which threatens the country more? Are we at risk for being invaded by a foreign power if we don't put $45 billion into the military? Or are we more at risk by adding to a $31 trillion debt? I think the greatest risk to our national security is our debt. The process stinks. It's an abomination. It's a no good, rotten way to run your government. $6 trillion entity, and they want 24 hours to process this, and then they want to go forward. I will be demanding 2 amendments. One, that this goes against the budget rules. The PAYGO rules say you can't do this. You can't have all this new spending unless it's offset. We will also be demanding that the PAYGO rules are increased. Instead of taking 60 votes to evade the rules, we're going to ask that it be a 2/3 vote to evade the rules. The American people don't want this. They're sick and tired of it. They're paying for it through the nose with inflation. Adding $1 trillion to the deficit will simply fuel the fires that are consuming our wages and consuming our retirement plans. It's a terrible system. Someone needs to stand up. We're standing up, and we're going to say no.
Rand Paul has really been a patriot, really a fiscal hawk. He's never wavered on no more war, no more endless wars. He's always been fiscally responsible. Really a man of character. Zelensky, when he was, everybody was cheering him. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz sat down and didn't give the guy the time of day, which I would have did the same thing. So at least there's 2 people in Congress on the House side that said screw you. This is what I was talking about. Omnibus stalls as Title 42 amendment causes major problems. Senators begin discussing short-term funding bills. Folks, they're going to push this thing through. And, we're watching, I hate to say this because it pains me. I mean, I love this country. I love the founding of this country. But, I mean, it's like we're at the last days of the Roman Empire. The internal corruption is what's destroying this country. And I mean, it's like the last gasp of the Republic we're watching. And, I hate it. Being honest with you. Lindsey Graham, war in Ukraine will end after Russians take Putin out. They really want to go to World War III, don't they? They just want to go up against a nuclear nation that literally has his Satan II nuclear missiles. These aren't city killers, folks. These take out land masses the size of Texas. Hypersonic. You're not going to shoot them down. They're literally up on their, they haul them on the semis, and their missile launching system is up, and they're locked and loaded. But let's keep poking the bear, Lindsey Graham. So Senator Lindsey Graham said on Wednesday on FNC's America reports that Russia's war in Ukraine will end when President Vladimir Putin is taken out by somebody in Russia. Anchor John Roberts asked, when you say all in, Senator, would you agree to give Zelensky what he wants, which is long-range attack artillery missiles? Would you give him Gray Eagle drones? Would you give him Reaper drones? Would you give him all that? Graham said, I would give him the ability to dislodge Russians from his country. Right now, the Biden administration has done more, and I appreciate doing more, but not the offensive capability to dislodge the Russians from the east, particularly Crimea. So the long-range weapons would hurt the Russian military more effectively. The drones would be the biggest game changer. Graham added, how does the war end? When Russia breaks and they take Putin out. Anything short of that, the war is going on. To ask the Ukrainians to give Russia part of the country after all this death and destruction is not going to happen. To signal a ceasefire, Russia will take the opportunity to rearm and come at them again. So we're in it to win it. And the only way you're going to win it is to break the Russian military and have somebody in Russia take Putin out and give the Russian people a new lease on life. They want World War III, folks. This is all, most of these are over at Breitbart. Hillary Clinton, Zelensky's speech inspiring, historic, comparable to Winston Churchill. Oh, please. You know, no one believes that except their zombie sheeple that follow them to get, fed and watered. Nobody believes Zelensky isn't. He couldn't. Hold a candle to Winston Churchill. It's just a ridiculous statement. Omnibus bill would bring U.S. taxpayer funds for Ukraine to over $110 billion in 1 year, folks. Inflation's through the roof here. Our southern border's being overrun. Energy's unaffordable because of this illegitimate administration. But let's spend, 60% of Americans are living hand to mouth, but let's spend $110 billion on a border war in another part of the world. Vladimir Zelensky presses Joe Biden for more missile defense systems to defend Ukraine. Mitch McConnell aiding Ukraine, number one priority for Republicans amid inflation and border crisis. Mitch McConnell, the CCP tool, aiding Ukraine, number one priority for Republicans. The rhinos, maybe, not the America First Republicans that you work to defeat, Mitch. U.S. to provide Patriot missile system to Ukraine. Let's just keep, let's get World War III. Let's keep priming the pump. Nukes will be flying soon enough. Congress gives Zelensky standing ovation after he demands more taxpayer money in angry speech, and they all stood and cheered except Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Gross, this is over at the Gateway Pundit. Pelosi proudly holds up Ukrainian flag in House chamber after Zelensky gives her kiss on the cheek, it looks like. Really nice. Putin vows to improve readiness of nuclear arsenal as U.S. Uniparty votes to donate $100 billion more to Ukraine, war efforts, and war on Russia. Vladimir Putin on Wednesday delivered remarks to the Russian Defense Ministry. Putin vowed to increase the readiness of the Russian nuclear arsenal as the U.S. Uniparty votes to donate over $100 billion in total will be to Ukrainian war efforts. Polarity. Say Biden has made the country worse, America's best days in the past. If we don't turn this country around, folks, and get rid of this corruption, this political rat that's from, local, state, and federal government, if we don't take back the judicial, the courts across the country that are just, agents of evil. I mean, everything is so broken. I believe, that's a true statement. A polarity of Americans believe President Joe Biden has made the country worse and say America's best days are in the past. A Rasmussen Report survey released Tuesday found. I think it's truth. I think that was probably a true survey. Marine Corps could axe sir and ma'am over gender neutrality worries. Who wants to go in a woke military? And, I love our military, men and women, the best in the world. But this regime is destroying our military with wokeness. The U.S. military may get woker. A new report has advised the U.S. Marine Corps to no longer use gendered terms such as yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. Being courtesy, respectful of other people, men and women. Now, there's no men and women. There's whatever you want people to be. So the new academic reports stem from research conducted by the University of Pittsburgh that was directly commissioned by the Marine Corps. Disgusting. study, adult children still rely on parents for financial help as cost of living skyrockets. Well, maybe that's part of the plan, folks. It'd be, look at, you'll lose, it'll be better for the planet if we can get people to live in pack them into less dwellings. So if we can keep the kids home from going out and then spending to heat another house and drive another car and spend more electricity, it will save the planet. So, maybe that's part of their thinking. Their demented thinking. Morris, FBI responds to Twitter files, allegations of Bureau involvement in the censorship. What the FBI is saying is all the stuff that Elon Musk has outed them on. They're saying, it's just business as usual. Well, I think that's true. It is business as usual. The Federal Bureau of Investigation issued a brash response to the Twitter files tranche released Monday, but refused to address the central claim alleged in the reporting that the Bureau guided and cultivated company employees to censor the New York Post reporting on the Hunter Biden laptop from hell. We know it's all true, and we know who the FBI is. They're a slimy secret police, or open, the Gestapo for the deep state and the Democrats. That's who they are. No evidence. This is a big surprise, isn't it? I don't know if you guys can see that. So most of that you can see. I'll read the headline. No evidence. Russia was behind Nord Stream sabotage. No kidding. Imagine that, folks. They discovered the Russians didn't blow up their own gas line. I think we all figured that out like in 2 seconds? Five eye-popping spending items in the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill. I shared this in this article. I just want to go in a previous video. I just want to go over this one part of this. If I can find it here really quick. Hang on, folks. I had it highlighted and it's not showing up yet. Where is it? It's right here. Here we go. One of the provisions in the bill states that not less than $575 million should be made available for family planning, reproductive health, including in areas where population growth threatens biodiversity and endangered species. Okay, I want to stop here for just a second. Do you remember this? Right here. Let me move this up so you can see it. Agenda 21, the right here. The Agenda 21 simulated reserve and corridor system to protect biodiversity. Remember this map? The red on the map. This is core reserves and corridor, little to no human use in the red parts. The yellow, and the map is mostly red and yellow, right? The yellow is buffer zones, highly regulated use. Okay, the only part that's normal use is kind of that teal green, which there's not a whole lot of. So this funding that they're talking about, $575 million should be made available for family planning, reproductive health, including in areas where population growth threatens biodiversity or endangered species. So they want to, stop people from breeding, I guess, having babies in these areas where there's too much population, possibly move them, and entice them to move to other areas where they can, there's too many people in this area. Let's move you over here where we've got room for you. The central planners, this whole global reset is complete and utter control of everything we do, say, buy, sell, use. It's complete and utter totalitarianism. And then this last article, family dog mistakenly flown to Saudi Arabia instead of Nashville. An absolute nightmare. I'm going to tell you, folks, I would be freaking livid. I am such a dog person. So a family flying to Nashville was shocked after landing to discover their dog was over 7,000 miles away in Saudi Arabia. The dog is traumatized, obviously. It took an agonizing 3 days and 3 flights for Bluebell to be finally reunited with her owners, but her behavior was noticeably different as she bolted upon arrival, according to the family. They anticipated, says, I anticipated kind of like the reunion you see on YouTube. Madison Miller told Nashville NBC affiliate WSMV4, like she comes out of the crate, she's wagging and licking your face. It was the opposite. We had to go and grab her because she was so horrified that when we knew something was wrong. So the dog's pissed. It said, hey, I don't want to fly. And now it came home and said, what did I tell you? I did not want to get on the plane. But, you know, it's a terrible deal. Another reason Renee will never fly. So let me get rid of this. So, you know, the FBI, we learned from that Tucker Carlson piece where, you know, they've released 80% of the JFK file. There's 20% remaining yet. And Tucker has a source that is very knowledgeable, knows everything that they're still holding. And Tucker said, well, did we have anything to do, our government, with, you know, the demise of JFK, right? Assassination. And the guy said, yes. Our country's not what you think it is. It's all fake. Then we, you know, pretty sure now that they set up Nixon. Look what they did to Trump. That Seth Rich, you know they offed him. But I'm going to tell you, as we learn more and more about how evil our government is, I think that island, you know, Pervert Island, Jeffrey Epstein, you know, the guy that suicided himself. The FBI raided that island, remember? I'm thinking now that island was a setup spot. Maybe the FBI was working with Epstein to compromise people, get them on tape, you know, having sex with somebody they shouldn't ought to have been having sex with, and then blackmailing them. Do I think the FBI would do something like that, knowing what I know now, or the CIA? I absolutely think they would. And maybe when the FBI raided that island, they were getting the stuff that incriminated the FBI. Our country is really evil. Unfortunate. Not where did I do with it? Not this. Not our founding documents. Not the Constitution. Not the Bill of Rights. Not our limited government representative republic. That's fine if we didn't have this evil that's undermined everything. So I'm not a revolutionary, by the way. I want to restore our country. These people that seize control of this country, they're the revolutionaries. Nancy Pelosi and Biden and all the radical leftists. I mean, the Democrat Party now is the Communist Party of America. But this $1.7 trillion bill is another fleecing of America. Look at our fiat currencies in a death spiral. I don't know how much longer the currency holds together, but it's going to end where every other fiat currency in the world has ended, being worthless paper, good for starting a fire. So I'm giving you my opinion, of course, not a financial advisor, but I think everybody should have physical gold and silver. My opinion, the ETFs, the paper gold and silver. What? You think you're going to get your gold and silver if something happens, your physical gold and silver? I mean, I believe in owning some physical gold and silver, some. And I think have some cash on hand. I think pay off stuff now while our currency does have some value. pay off as much stuff as you can, get out of debt, stock up on food and survival supplies, because I believe 2023 is going to be hell on earth. I think these morons are leading us into the greatest depression, a global depression, and this could be part of their plans, the Great Reset, Cloward and Piven, to collapse the system and then rebuild a more equitable form of government. But just batten the hatches, folks, because the storm is coming. And I believe we're going to be in World War III. We're in it right now. It's just the beginnings of it. But they're hell-bent on starting the last war of humanity. And why do I say the last war of humanity when humans have did nothing but do one war after another? Because this is the one that has nuclear weapons. And I believe this will be the second coming. And then we get 1,000 years of peace. Second coming of Christ. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I will see you in the next video. I'm going to go watch the Kerry Lake trial, which is on now live. You can go over to Nick Moseder on Rumble. He's broadcasting it live. But it may go somewhere, folks. They've got he had a really good day yesterday. There were some problems, and they brought them to the surface. So we'll see. I hope so. If it's kind of our last shot at restoring how we choose people in this country. Let me know what you think of what's going on here in the comments down below. If you've just tuned in and you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. This is a liberty-minded channel, so if you're a person that wants that believes in your individual rights to live the life you want to live, how you want to live it, and want the government to stay out of your pocketbook and stay out of meaningless, endless wars, you've come to the right place. I will see you again. Bye.